A Sport Clips haircut makes any guy feel like his hair has its own walk-up music. Maybe you play sports. Maybe you play sports online. Whatever your sport is, check in online at sportclips.com/check-in and get your hair in the game.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen versus everybody.
What up, Dap?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we're putting it on wax. It's the new style.
We're Jalen Jacoby. What do we do? Stop,
We get
Reg.
people what they want.
I gotta start the show by asking a question I just asked. Is the air horn corny? Like, I'm starting to feel like we need to move on. We need to move on from that sound. And Reggie, if you play that again, I'm gonna lose my mind and start breaking stuff in the studio. Is it corny?
I'm going to answer your question. Here's the thing. When you're innovators in this industry like we have been with this program, there are things you're going to bring for public consumption. Not that we made it up,
No.
but a lot of things that we popularized.
It's been happening for
And
decades.
So, once people start to use it and catch up, it's up to us to reinvent ourselves and do something else. So based on that logic, yes, it's time for us to come with something else.
I think we need to move on. That said, it's Jalen and Jacoby. It's been a long time.
We shouldn't have left you.
Without a dope pod to step to. Jalen and Jacoby back. Jalen's launching Get Up. He's in New York. They're doing rehearsals. You see him on social media crushing up chips, eating things. And I just want everybody to know that next week, you're not going to get that many podcasts from us as Jalen is focusing on Get Up. But the launch of Get Up does not mean the end of Jalen and Jacoby. I can't say that enough times. Thank you to our loyal listeners for sticking with us through this patchy period.
And I need to thank you for something, David Jacoby.
Uh-oh.
Because you didn't let my future coworkers know how unprepared, how unprofessional, and how terrible my eating habits were. They're learning this for the first time.
I want everyone. I'm not going to give anybody any advanced information. They get no scouting report about what it's like to work from Jalen Rose from me. My rules. You know what I mean? You got to discover all of Jalen's weird idiosyncrasies yourself. Jalen somehow lost 50 pounds by eating strictly like fried foods and chips. The new diet's the keto diet. Everybody needs to go on the Jalen diet. It's better made chips, fried foods. That's it. And when you're done with your French fries, order another order of French fries and just eat those.
I thought about you this morning when I was supposed to be here at 5, and it was like 5:35, and I had like 6 different people calling and texting me at the same time.
The start of Get Up is on Monday morning, 7 to 10 Eastern. If you're on the West Coast, you can still watch it 7 to 10 your time on ESPN2, I believe, right?
Yep.
ESPN.
No, you're not listening. 7 to 10.
a.m. to 10 is the original. The re-air is the same hour specific on ESPN2.
Perfect. Let's get into this pod today, Jalen Rose. So Ben Simmons and Karl Anthony Towns are playing not Fortnite. They're playing whatever it's called, something Battleground. And they said Karl Anthony Towns doesn't want to play another game. Ben Simmons says, "Who are you playing tomorrow?" He says, "The Hawks." And then Ben Simmons says, "Oh, you got plenty of time to play another game." During the game, Karl Anthony Towns scored 56 points, breaking Mo Williams' franchise record for the Timberwolves of how many points in a game has been scored for the franchise. My question for you is this, though. Do we overlook Towns when we talk about young centers? We usually just bring up Embiid and Porzingis. Do we overlook Towns when we have that conversation?
I don't think we overlook him. To the point 2 seasons ago, NBA GMs were polled if they were building a team, which individual they would choose to do that with. And the choice was not LeBron, not Steph, not KD, not Anthony Davis. It was Karl Anthony Towns. So in NBA circles, he's no stranger to the ability that he has currently, but also his upside and how much disrespect and shade went towards the Atlanta Hawks.
Yep.
Let me get this right.
Deservedly so.
2 NBA players are playing a video game. One tells the other, I'm about to get ready to go so I can get ready for the game. The other, Ben Simmons, says, who do you play? And he says the Atlanta Hawks. They both laugh. The Hawks know about it the night before. Mm-hmm. If their Twitter account could play, they win a championship this year. They have the flyest Twitter account in the league. But however, they don't get minutes in the game. So you show up and let the dude have 56 on you, knowing that he just threw shade. This new NBA is something else.
And we also there needs to be some tanking reform. We've discussed it. We're not going to get into it again. But there needs to be tanking reform because you can look right now. I don't need to rehash to our audience what the Eastern Conference and Western Conference playoff seedings look like. But if you look at the upcoming schedule for the teams at the bottom jockeying for position, you can look at it and say, okay, non-playoff team, that's a win. Non-playoff team, that's a win. Playoff team, all right, we're going to have to try that night. Non-playoff team, that's a win. Unless, of course, you're the Timberwolves playing the Grizzlies. Apologize to Timberwolves fans. But it's broken the playoff system. And we talked about this months ago, but now we're seeing it in real life. If you're playing a non-playoff team right now, you're going to win that game. Like, it's just the way it plays out.
And also, when those teams play each other, that makes it more of a mockery because you have individuals that are spending their hard-earned money for NBA tickets, whether on a nightly basis or season ticket-wise. And so that becomes clearly something that's not valuable at all. So it becomes a disappointment for the league. Again, here's what the league should do. Make it so each team that is in the lottery have the exact same opportunity to get the number one pick. So imagine if a team like the Spurs find a way not to make the playoffs. They should have the same chance as the Nets to get the number one overall pick. That'll eliminate tanking right off.
The Grizzlies have won 2 games in a row. I heard they had a players-only meeting after the second win. They're like, guys, we got to change something. Like, the coaches, you're out. Media, you get out of here. They're like, this is broken. We're on a win streak. This needs to change. I don't understand if we got our priorities right or what. That's just what I heard. I don't know if that's real. Next, I'm going to go to this. You mentioned Anthony Davis earlier, and Anthony Davis put this poll up on Twitter. Should I shave the brow? There has now been 600,000 votes, right around 600,000, which is probably a bigger voter turnout than the midterm elections are going to have. And it is split down the middle. It's split right down the middle. So, Jalen, I ask you, should Anthony Davis trim the brow, shave the brow, or keep it as it is?
He should keep it as it is because it's become a thing. Number one, as a basketball player, his trademark is what we refer to him as. And also, it's a level of strength and endurance for somebody that has something that you could hide or you could change or people will tease you about and you could be insecure. Yet he's owned it and made it his signature. I truly appreciate that.
So I have advice for Anthony Davis, right? One thing about male grooming is you never want to make it look like you're too into male grooming. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to get your eyebrows trimmed, you can't go Pauly D with it from Jersey Shore. Like, I think Anthony Davis, if this is a thing in his mind that he wants to change, he can't do it overnight. You can't go to the salon and show up overnight with, like, the thin tattooed eyebrows. Well, he needs to just slowly have someone pluck, like, 4 hairs every day. So over time, we can both be like, wait, what happened to his eyebrows? And we don't even notice. Like, that's my advice for Anthony Davis if this is something he wants to change about his life. But I also think he's just trolling, trying to get us to talk about him. Do you think that's fair?
Well, we always talk about how people find ways to be engaging on Twitter. This actually worked. Didn't you say this probably had, 600,000 people actually participate?
Yep.
So that's a level of engagement that continues to allow NBA players to flourish with popularity.
Yep. If you listen to the show every day, you know a few things about us. You know basically everything about us. You know more about Jalen and I than my closest friends and family members do because you have this relationship. And one thing that you know is we love sneakers. Another thing you know is that Allbirds make sneakers out of wool from very happy sheep, and they sponsor this podcast. But guess what? Allbirds, they're popping up. I've seen people wear Allbirds around the neighborhood. Allbirds is on the come up. You want to get down with Allbirds, but guess what? Do you remember when I told you before about the happy sheep that make the shoes and how happy the sheep are? Guess what? They've got shoes made from trees as well. Reggie, hit the reggae horn. Because they're not just making shoes out of wool now. Now they're making shoes out of trees. I told you about the Allbirds wool runners. I have a pair of those. Allbirds hasn't even sent me the tree runners yet. The tree runners are brand new, hot. The tree runners are made from eucalyptus tree fibers. That's right. They're the most sustainable shoe that Allbirds has ever come out with. And they're done in a way that adds to the comfort without compromising the quality. The wool runners we've all seen, we've all worn, they're light, they're cozy. They're doing the same thing with the tree runners. They're made from ethically sourced FSC certified eucalyptus tree fibers. I don't know how you make sneakers from trees, but I believe in Allbirds. You want to wear some trees on your feet? You go to allbirds.com and you get the tree runners. They utilize the most rigorous sustainable forestry standard in order to protect the trees, wildlife, and people. You're not wearing dead animal skin on your feet. You're wearing eucalyptus fibers. I like eucalyptus. It smells good. You put a little eucalyptus in the steam room, a little eucalyptus in a cough drop, eucalyptus on your feet. Why not? Get the tree runners from Allbirds. They're light. They're comfortable. Every shoe that Allbirds has ever sent me, I've worn and I've enjoyed. That's facts. That's actual facts. Allbirds is on a mission to prove that comfort, style, and sustainability don't have to be mutually exclusive. They're dedicated to making stylish, comfortable footwear using premium, natural materials designed for life's everyday adventures. Get down with the tree runners. Go to allbirds.com, find your pair of light, breezy, comfy shoes, and they're made from trees. Get the tree runners from Allbirds. Allbirds, also, if you're listening to this podcast and you work at Allbirds, you're checking in on the read to make sure that it's good, make sure that I'm pouring my energy and my soul into this. Send me some tree runners. I'm wearing the house shoes every day. I'm wearing the wool runners when I have an appropriate outfit for them. I want to wear some trees on my feet. If you want to wear some trees on your feet, go to allbirds.com and get the tree runner.
A Sport Clips Championship haircut experience makes you feel like your hair has its own walk-up music. Maybe you play sports. Maybe you play sports online. Or maybe your sport is keeping up with your kids. Your hair deserves its own walk-up music. And at Sport Clips, we make it easy. A game-changing cut from a stylist trained for guys while you're surrounded by sports. Hair this good needs no introduction, but you'll want one anyway. So get in line online at sportclips.com/check-in and get your hair in the game.
Well, you found yourself engaged on Twitter earlier this week with Mary Bell Hicks and her message for Sister Jean and the Loyola Chicago Ramblers. Jalen, how has your grandmother, Mary Bell Hicks, reacted to her newfound fame?
She's doing great. At 100 years old, she doesn't have to interact with anybody she doesn't choose to. It worked out perfect. Instead of her going to the world, you hold up the phone, you press record, and you bring the entire world to her. So she's good. She's excited and ready for the game to get started this Saturday.
But she hasn't said anything about people reaching out to her or any of the reaction, any of the blushback. Her life hasn't changed one little bit since she put out the video.
Well, her life has not changed. Now, the feedback from family members and friends who continue to be bombarded in acknowledgement of the video, but also it's love and support for somebody at that age that still has her motor skills and enthusiasm for the sport. I appreciate how many people have embraced her and have continued to support the video.
So you have to stay in New York City because of your various, professional commitments. So you will not be attending the game. Where will you be watching Saturday's game against Loyola Chicago?
Well, it's unique because Saturday, not only does Michigan play a Final Four game, coincidentally, it's Molly's birthday also. So I'm going to be juggling both situations, but since she works in sports, she understands that I'm going to be finding a way to watch the game.
All right, so I know Molly doesn't listen to the podcast anymore. She used to, but I know she doesn't listen anymore. So you can share with our family what your plans are for Molly's birthday, because you don't want to go too big, but you don't want to go too small.
I'm going to get that ironed out today. I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do. Working this Monday through Friday early in the morning has kind of chopped up my day to the point I haven't gotten a head start on the planning and the gifting and all of that stuff. And plus, I work Friday late and I work early Sunday. So it's going to be unique to see how this plays out. Oh, no. See, Jalen, you just played that wrong. Never admit that you haven't planned a birthday for your significant other. First of all, no one plans birthdays for their significant other that far in advance. You know what I mean? That's a lie. But you never admit it on wax. You're like, yeah, I got something in the works. I've started figuring it out. Not even that. You need to get on the phone. Call Michelle. Get on the phone, call Michelle. Have her fix it. I'm into it right after this podcast. I promise you. I'm going to make sure I represent. Good. Well,
we don't have to worry about her finding out because she definitely doesn't listen to the podcast anymore. My wife never listened to the podcast. Molly used to, but she gave up. You know what I mean? No, just definitely doesn't listen to the podcast anymore.
Once you move in together, she's not listening to it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. She gets enough of Jalen, I'm sure. So let's talk about the Final Four matchups as we head into the Final Four weekend. I'm assuming that Michigan is going to win because we all know Michigan is going to win. Like, that's a given. The other side of the bracket, not so sure about. Who do you think would win Villanova, Kansas? And who do you want to win Villanova, Kansas to face in the finals?
I'm torn because these are two of my favorite coaches in college basketball, Jay Wright of Villanova and Bill Self of Kansas. Each have had different levels of success. Villanova has recently won a championship led by senior Jalen Brunson, who in my opinion is also the Collegiate Player of the Year. And for Kansas, they also have a dynamite player in Newman who put up 30-plus in the previous game against the Duke Blue Devils. If I had to pick one of the two, I would probably say Kansas because they have more size and productivity up front.
Yeah.
And once they get to the finals and play against the Michigan Wolverines, I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell you who I'm picking at that point.
Nope.
But if you want to hear, I'm picking Michigan to sing One Shiny Moment, You Reach for the Sun. One shiny moment.
Yeah, I appreciate how much you sing because you really can't sing, and you don't let that bother you. You know they say dance like no one's watching. You sing like no one's listening. You really do. So you said earlier, I want to see if you can put it on wax. You said that you had a preferred team that you wanted to see on Monday night if Michigan beats the Ramblers.
I know, because the one thing about the survive and advance, you look at the brackets and you say this team can be an issue. And so, as I watched the journey for the Michigan Wolverines, I was like, Gonzaga, they may be a problem. They're a lot like us looking in the mirror. But they got bounced by somebody else. I was like, whoo! And then I saw Duke. I was like, oh, man, no. I know I'm not going to be sitting there watching the national championship game and have to deal with the fact if we do not win that game, I personally won't be able to live it down. In this case, I feel like Kansas is going to beat Villanova, but if I had to choose the opponent, I would pick Villanova because their best player is a guard, and we're a guard-oriented team that also have Wagner who can shoot the three and make plays going towards the basket. Probably would be my preference, but we'll see how it plays out.
So this is something that once it happened, I was like, I got to talk to Jalen about this. Because we all know what LeBron James is really up to. You know what I mean? Me and you talk about this a lot. Like, LeBron James sees the floor. He's one of the smartest athletes that I've ever come across. And he went on wax to the Associated Press and with the MVP thing was like, oh, if it was MVP, I would vote for me. Because look at what I've done. Kept this whole thing afloat through all these injuries and through all this other stuff. You know, what I've had to deal with is different. The adversity that I've had to deal with, the year that I've had through all this adversity, I would definitely vote me. Here's the thing, Jalen Rose. LeBron James knows he has no chance of winning the MVP this year. He knows that in his head he has no chance of winning the MVP this year. He just wants to remind all the voters, like you, Jalen Rose, he wants to remind everybody how good he is, what he has to deal with, and how he carries this franchise year after year. He's campaigning for next year's MVP this year. Do you agree with that statement?
No, because he's campaigning for this year's MVP.
He ain't getting it, though.
This year.
He knows he's not getting it.
That's actually what he's doing.
He knows he's not getting it.
You underestimate the power of LeBron James's voice and how that can sway individuals with votes. It's going to have people thinking about, man, really? Is he the guy that's the most valuable player in the league or the guy that's having the best season? That's normally what people quantify when they make this choice. But one of the things I look at are the standings. And while both of their productivity is comparable, he and James Harden, one large thing that James has over him is his team is plus 16 or 17 in the win column.
The win column
There's something to be said for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately why James Harden is, at this point, the guaranteed MVP award winner. But I always like LeBron just saying, you know what, I would vote me. I would vote me too. You know what I mean? I think everyone would vote them. I think everyone, like everybody in the league is out there being like, yeah, I would definitely vote myself. I'm not going to vote for somebody else.
Here's how it works in LeBron's world. If you guys aren't going to talk about me for the MVP, I'm going to talk about me for the MVP. And so he just does this.
Jalen's now patting himself on the back. He's actually giving himself a pretty romantic hug. But what I don't like about what Jalen is doing right now is he turned around so I can see that terrible taper that he's got in his haircut going on. So we love that kind of honesty from LeBron James, but I did not expect this kind of honesty from the Sixers' Dario Saric. The Sixers are hot right now, one of the hottest teams going into the playoffs, and you usually don't get this kind of answer to this kind of question from a professional athlete. Let's listen.
Are you intimidated by anybody?
No, I don't want to play against LeBron. You know, he's obviously, in the top three players in the world, in the history maybe, and I don't want to judge him. Everybody else, are welcome to come here.
See, I'm going to go from the media side of this, and you go from the player side of this. From the media side of this, when you say, are you intimidated by anybody, you're throwing that up. That's a lob. That's a J.R. Smith lob up to LeBron so the athlete can say, we're not intimidated by anybody. I feel like we're playing the best basketball in the league. There's no team out there that can beat us. That's a lob. You get the canned answer. It's a nice quote. You can use it the next day. Ba-ba-bang. But then the athlete says what, Jalen?
I don't want to play against LeBron James. He's one of the greatest players in the world. As a matter of fact, one of the greatest players of all time. But I will give Sarge credit, who's been balling, by the way, and gets overlooked in the dynamic of young talent on the Philadelphia 76ers roster. English isn't his primary language. So what ends up happening is you can mince his words or quantify what he's saying. I do not think he personally has a fear against playing against LeBron James. However, he likely knows that if they were to face him, that would mean an earlier exit in whatever round they happen to face one another.
Oh, definitely. He's right. No one wants to play against LeBron James. No one's excited to play against LeBron James. No one in the world is. No one, I mean, you could try to tell yourself you're excited to play against LeBron James, but especially in a playoff series, whether you're hosting it or you're going on the road for it, you do not want to play against LeBron James at basketball. We've been watching a lot of college basketball, a lot of pro basketball, and you've seen individual performances catapult teams, whether they're the top seeds or the Cinderellas, through the tournament. And Goodyear Tires knows that it's all about performance. Performance is everything. You know when you buy Goodyear Tires, you're going to get tires that perform. They are the number one name in tires. My son is 4 years old. You say, what type of tires can you name? He will say Goodyear. Why? Because of the Goodyear blimp. He loves the Goodyear blimp. But it's more than a blimp, man. I don't even know if there's Goodyear tires on the Goodyear blimp. Do blimps have tires? They have tires, right? They got to have tires. And I'm sure that those tires perform well as well. When it comes to choosing tires, let Goodyear.com help you choose what's best. They have a variety of different tires that you can choose from based on your needs. Whether you're on the East Coast, you need some snow tires. You're on the West Coast, you just need some tires that are going to go for a long time and perform well. Make sure you choose Goodyear when you choose tires. Goodyear, more driven.
Love scoring amazing hotel deals? Then you've got to get the Hotel Tonight app. Forget scrolling through never-ending lists of hotels. Hotel Tonight shows you a select list of incredible deals at hotels you actually want to stay at. And even though the name's Hotel Tonight, you can book up to 100 days in advance in top destinations and up to a week in advance everywhere else. Want to get those deals? Yeah, you do. Download the Hotel Tonight app now.
Well, I have to talk to you about this one. Are you ready, Jalen? Because I know you've been working with Get Up, and you guys have been doing rehearsals, and you've got all these topics, and I know the future of our program is you do 3 hours at Get Up. That's going to be your preparation for Jalen and Jacoby. I'm going to try to have a meeting with you where we go through the show. You're not going to want to talk about that. But this is one of the topics that you're only going to get on Jalen and Jacoby. There's been some scientific controversy lately about bees, Jalen Rose. And what we're learning is that there was a theory that once a bee consummates a relationship with a female bee, that then its penis explodes. However, We have new information coming in from the scientific community. Listen to me, quoting a tweet, quote, "A bee's penis and testicles are the same thing. It's an endophallus. During climax, the bee becomes paralyzed. The endophallus explodes and rips off as the bee backflips and dies. The explosion is audible to human ears." So Jalen Rose, male bees, according to this, have an orgasm just so large that their endophallus explodes, then they do a backflip. They do a backflip, land the backflip, and then die. Question for you. Having an orgasm so large that you do a backflip and then die, soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Boss move. Definitely boss move. Definitely a boss move.
No question about it.
Because here's why it's such a boss move. One thing I know about consummating sexual relationships is you can always tell when there's going to be more pregnancy is going to happen. That he's like, when you do that after an explosion and a backflip, definitely a pregnancy. Definitely a pregnancy right there. Like, that's definitely going to lead to children. So he's just like, look, my life is over. I got seeds out of this one. I'm going on. Jalen, you're just not going to even touch that one, right?
No. Did you say you can always tell when there's going to be a pregnancy?
Yeah, I can. You can always trace it back. You know, when you find out someone's pregnant, you start doing the timeline, and you're like, oh, I remember that night. 2 bottles of wine. It was our anniversary. And next thing you know, Quincy Jacoby's on the earth.
This brings new light to the term, you get more bees with honey than vinegar. Totally makes sense.
I guess so. They're not going to talk about that one on Get Up. I just like the backflip part of it. The backflip part of it really excites me. Because if having an orgasm and then dying, like, that's happened. We've all seen that in movies or whatever. It's the explosion that's audible to human ears. Think about that. And the backflip. And then the death. Boss move.
But usually the explosion that's ready for audible ears is like, wah! And then the backflip happens in your mind.
I'm going to try the backflip. I'm going on vacation with my wife this weekend. We're going to try the backflip. If I don't show up to the show next week, you know exactly what happened. I did a backflip and then I died.
Blue 16!
Next thing you know,
Red 35!
Next thing you know, Joey Jacoby's going to call you up, hitting you up for money because we're having triplets. There's some news in the world of the NFL. You know what I mean? This has been a great offseason for the NFL. I think the NFL watched the NBA's trade deadline and was like, we got to do something about this. Like, they watched the NBA's trade dedeadline. NBA was getting all the headlines. Everyone's talking about the NBA. And the NFL was like, we need to do something about this. And it has been a fascinating and exciting NFL off season. Oh, I know what you want to talk about. Where's the broken news button? Soundboard's not working, Reg. Hit us. Broken news.
To everyone else, it's breaking news. To Jalen and Jacoby listeners, it's broken news.
What did I tell you the day after a Super Bowl about 2 players, one that played in the Super Bowl and one that didn't?
The day after the Super Bowl, Jalen Rose said something crazy. Much like when he said that last season Russell Westbrook was going to average a triple-double. Jalen Rose said something crazy the day after the Super Bowl. He said both Rob Gronkowski and Odell Beckham should be traded. He said if I was running those franchises, I would trade both of those players. Well, guess what? Some white powdery substance next to him. He's holding a cigar. He's dancing around. And he's talking about not playing in the preseason games, and next thing you know, you hear rumors. First of all, rumors, it's just people like Jalen saying, oh, I would trade him. That's not a fact. And then there's some, potentially where would he end up? And now you hear this report where, they want 2 first-rounders. So when you start figuring out what the package they want back is, that's when you know it's real. Jalen, what made you say it then, and what makes you think they might do it now?
First and foremost, he and Gronk are both terrific players, game changers, considered top players at their positions. But when you're in a salary cap driven sport, you need the highest paid player to be somebody of value. And in football, normally that's your quarterback. Teams' dynamics change once you have to pay your quarterback top dollar. Look no further than the Seattle Seahawks. Initially, what was their claim to fame as a football team?
Secondary.
And the Legion of Boom. No doubt about it. How their defense was so stout It's because that's where they invested their money. And before you know it, they win the Super Bowl, and rightfully so. You have to pay your elite quarterback in Russell Wilson. It depresses the dynamics of their team. All of a sudden, they go into a season where they're investing the least amount of money of any squad in the offensive line. Now that's happening in reverse for the Rams. Jared Goff is on a rookie contract.
Yep.
So is Todd Gurley. So is Aaron Donald in a different way. So you're able to add Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, and Ndamukong Suh. So now you have the assets to build out the rest of your roster. If you're a Giants team and you're already 3-13 and you've never won a playoff game with Odell Beckham, and plus you throw into all of the things that are happening away from the field, you can't now turn around and make him the highest paid player in football because you can't build out your roster.
Nope.
It's just plain and simple. And Eli Manning's pushing 40, which means you're going to eventually have to invest in a younger quarterback. Imagine how that young quarterback is going to fare when he don't throw him the ball or when he don't show up at training camp. We're still without a run game, still without an offensive line. I just said to build out the dynamics of their team. It's the responsible thing to do. We'll see if it happens in their case.
It does feel like the responsible thing for the Giants franchise to do, because it doesn't feel like the Giants are going to make a Super Bowl run this year. Let's be honest. Let's be real. And they've got new people in the front office. What do new people in the front office like to do? Switch it up, make their mark, change the culture. This makes total sense, and I'm going to say right now it's going to happen. I'm saying it's going to happen in like the next 2 weeks. This is going to happen. Odell Beckham will no longer be on the Giants. And I'm going to go so far as to say Odell Beckham will underperform at whatever new team he's on as well, because I've lost a little faith in Odell Beckham. I think he's really talented, but he's also injury prone, and the off-field stuff is indicative of where his mind state is at. Who would have thought that like a French Instagram model would be the catalyst that moves Odell Beckham, one of the best players in the NFL, to a different team?
Well, she's not the catalyst, and for those that say, and rightfully so, you can't tell what he was holding. Was it a cigar or was it a blunt?
Oh, come on.
For those that say, well, the person next to him in bed, you see white lines, but you're not sure what it is. Just let me tell you, as a former athlete, when I see a white powdered substance that's within arm's reach of me in any way, shape, or form, that's just like picking up a gun, playing Russian roulette, and putting it to my head. That's how I personally see that white powdered substance. That is never good and doesn't fare well for your franchise if you're going to make him the highest paid player and the leader of the squad.
All right, you guys listen to the podcast, right? And you know that there's a point in the podcast where I do the reads for our sponsors, just like every other podcast does. It's just kind of the way it works. Well, this one, when I read it, it touched me a little bit. I'm going to open up and share something with you guys, okay? I'm concerned about my hairline. Not only do I work with a man who has the greatest hairline in the business, Jalen's hairline is legendary, and he deserves it to be celebrated for it. But my hairline's starting to creep in the corners, as Draymond Green would say. And a lot of times, when I watch the show, I just stare at this one corner of my hairline that's really starting to go back. I'm 40 years old. I never thought this was going to happen to me. They always say, like, oh, look at your mom's father, and that's how you can tell what your hair is going to be like. My mom's father had hair. I never expected to be losing my hair. Starting to creep back in the corners a little bit in the hairline. And there was one time when I got a haircut from a new barber, and Jalen said to me, oh, that barber brought your hairline back. And I started to get a complex about it. I was like, wait a second. I didn't know my hairline needed to be brought back. I didn't know this was a thing that I need to be considered about. Now I am self-conscious about my hairline and how it's creeping. And whether you're losing it a little bit in the top, or maybe you're losing a little bit in the back, but it happens to everybody. 66% of men lose their hair by age 35. I'm one of those people. Guess what? Go to forhims.com. Forhims.com. That's for Hims. FORHIMS.com. It is a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness, and everything else for men. Here's the thing. Hims connects you to real doctors with medical-grade solutions to treat your hair loss. Whether you're about to go completely bald or you're just creeping the corners a little bit like me, you can get a solution at forhims.com. They have well-known generic equivalents to name brand prescriptions that will help you keep your hair. No snake oil pills or gas station counter supplements. This is real stuff, real prescription solutions that are backed by science. There's no waiting room. There's no awkward doctor visit. It's so easy. You just answer a few quick questions and they prescribe you what you need to get your hairline back. I didn't know I had this problem until Jalen gave me this complex, but now it's something I think about at least 10 times a day. And if you're listening to this, you either have no idea what I'm talking about or you're nodding along saying, maybe I should do something about it. If you want to do something about it, go to 4hims.com. Right now, our listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now, while supplies last. Go to the website. That is FORHIMS.com/J&J. So go to 4hims/J&J. We talk about a lot of basketball in this podcast, but we also talk about hairlines a lot in this podcast. You know it's important to us. If it's important to you too, even if you're just slipping a little bit like myself, go to 4hims.com/J&DJ. They'll set you up. Real quick, real easy. You'll get a prescription that will help you with your hairline. They also have skincare products, sexual wellness products. Go to 4hims.com/J&J and you can get a trial month for just $5 while supplies last. This would cost you hundreds of dollars if you went to a doctor or a pharmacy. And right now it'll cost you just $5 when you go to 4hims.com/J&J. I might do this. I'm very concerned about my hairline. Reggie, do I need to do this?
Yep.
Oh, no. That hurt my feelings, Reggie. I'm not lying. We got some breaking news from Reggie, our producer here. Reggie I don't like the Hall of Fame debates. I think everybody should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me. Why do I want to keep someone from getting celebrated? Reggie loves to debate this stuff. We've got breaking news. Inductees this year's class. Steve Nash, Grant Hill, Jason Kidd. Those are all Hall of Famers to me. No problem whatsoever.
No problem whatsoever. All of them will get in, and rightfully so. And I got a chance to play with and or against each one of those guys, and I agree with you, as well deserved. And you have to acknowledge it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, which takes into totality what you did, I guess, in high school, but definitely in college and in the pros.
Mo Cheeks also in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's at the same tier as those other three players, but like I said earlier, everyone should get in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to keep anybody out of the Hall of Fame. Jalen Rose, didn't you get recognized by the Hall of Fame a couple years ago? Come on now. Sure, why not?
It was a philanthropic award.
I cannot bring up the Hall of Fame without giving the biggest shout to the 413 Western Massachusetts, where I grew up. Springfield, Massachusetts, right next to Amherst, where I grew up.
It
Springfield Central,
would have been nice to participate in a ceremony in the Collegiate Hall of Fame, except
you've never played college basketball.
By the transgressions of one of my lovely teammates, the accomplishments that took place at the University of Michigan are not acknowledged.
Can I tell you something? I put up the video of Quincy watching Countdown Without You, and he was baffled. Quincy's my son. I didn't want to put this on wax, but since you brought it up, we were watching. He gets confused because whenever we watch TNT, he thinks that you should be on that show too. He thought you were Chris Webber. He's like, there's Jalen right there. He goes, there's Jalen, Uncle Jalen. I was like, no, that's Chris Webber. I was like, close though, same Fat Five.
But that's definitely my brother C-Web, and I know that, the totality of the crew aren't seeing eye to eye at this moment and at this point. But hopefully he finds in his head and in his heart one day to come back to not only the Fab Five family, but to the University of Michigan one. That's going to embrace him with open arms.
All right, Jalen, we got to go quick hits with these topics, all right?
Let's get it.
Real quick, Isaiah Thomas having hip surgery, likely missing the end of the whole season this season, probably some of next season. Do you see him getting anything but a one-year contract this offseason?
Not only will he get a one-year contract, but as a player, that's what you want at this point, because he still has a proven ground for a ceiling. Just think about this. Before he got traded from the Celtics, he was an all-NBA performer starring on a number one seed. He was in line to get $100+ million to play basketball. And before you know it, he has a hip injury that was misdiagnosed. The entire Boston training staff is fired for such. They get a chance to move him, so they do for Kyrie Irving. He goes to Cleveland, plays in 15 games is not not even a shell of the player we saw in Boston. They move him to Los Angeles. He's a substitute from being an all-NBA performer and a starter to a sub. And then you see that he's truly not able to recover without surgery. So now you go into free agency on crutches that normally doesn't bode well for getting a big-time deal. So it's in his best interest to only sign a one-year deal and try to prove himself afterwards.
We'll see. I'm rooting for Isaiah Thomas. I think everyone is rooting for Isaiah Thomas to recover quickly, perform well next year, and get that Brinks truck money that he wanted so bad this offseason. The Celtics have won 5 in a row, and they've been hobbled as they've been doing it. They beat the Jazz last night. Last second shot by Jalen Brown. It was an exciting end. I don't see the Celtics going very far in the playoffs. Are you convinced that this hobbled Celtics team could carry the franchise through the playoffs into the Eastern Conference Finals?
I don't think so. If you don't have Kyrie Irving going into the playoffs, I hope they're able to get out of the first round. Maybe the second if teams underperform like Washington and Milwaukee and Toronto. But you would think this team definitely has a ceiling after the first round. But ultimately, the good thing that has happened, you get a chance to develop that young talent and get them more minutes. Jalen Brown, as you mentioned, Tatum gets more of an opportunity. Rozier. And so now you create value in those assets to see if you could try to parlay a couple of them into an all-star level performer.
So, Jalen, Bill Belichick was in Miami for the University of Miami Pro Day, and he spent some time at the Dolphins facility. There was a picture of him at the Dolphins facility. He's got a laptop on his lap, a laptop to his left, and a notepad to his right. I have a theory about the 2 laptops thing I want to drop on you. I think he doesn't know how to switch between applications, and all he does is email and watch film. So he's got an email laptop and a film laptop. Your thoughts, Mr. Rose?
I've been there, done that. I've been there, done that. You're exactly right. That's what that is. No question about it. And you have the pad, and he probably got 2 phones. One for the staff and one for Tom Brady.
You told me you had 2 phones. One's email for one and calls and texts for the other. Is that true or false?
That's absolutely true.
I'll teach you how to switch applications.
So I can check in and check out. So, for example, Friday after work, the email phone goes away until Monday morning.
You're the best. You and Bill Belichick are so old and out of touch. I love it. This is something I really need to hear your opinion on because this has changed my perspective on pizza. You know, pizza is very important to me. I'm a professional pizza maker. The tennis star, Jeannie Bouchard, she has a habit of dipping her pizza in soy sauce. Now, I was skeptical of dipping pizza in ranch dressing until I tried it. It's actually quite delicious. Are you open-minded enough to try pizza dipped in soy sauce?
I'm open-minded to do a lot of things. Dumping pizza in soy sauce is not one because, as you know, I enjoy fine Asian cuisine. Yes. And I like to keep those things separate, just like I enjoy chicken and I enjoy waffles, just not together with syrup and eggs. So with that, I want to keep my cheese and my toppings on my pizza away from soy sauce.
I'm glad you brought this up because that transitions perfectly into this very important topic that I need to discuss with you. Are you familiar with the food lobster?
Yeah, I heard of it before.
Are you familiar with the franchise Red Lobster?
I am. In college, I've gone in there and walked out without paying the bill multiple times.
Are you familiar with the Cheddar Bay biscuits?
No, now we're going into uncharted waters.
They have they're very famous, the biscuits they give you, that's just what they call them. They're delicious. You've had them. They have a new menu item. Fried lobster on top of a Cheddar Bay biscuit batter waffle. Jalen Rose, are you interested in fried lobster on top of a waffle?
I'm interested in the fried lobster, but I'm good with the waffle. That's a perfect example. I don't want to eat those 2 foods together because think about it. I like my lobster with butter. I like my waffle with syrup. These things don't go together.
That's fair. So last time we told you about the Ito's we've been trying to get you to move back to the West Coast. Let's just be honest. Let's be real. We miss you very much here around the studio. We're trying to get you to move back.
But I just thought about something. On my waffle, I do put butter and syrup.
I thought about that too.
But please continue.
We're just going to move on. Yeah. Sometimes you got to let certain things slide. You've used quantify wrong like 7 times, but I'm not going to stop you and correct you. So last time we told you about the Edo shortage on the East Coast, the Cheetos and Fritos. They're having trouble getting delivered to bodegas. We were hoping that would make you move back to the West Coast. But now we have this. In Connecticut, there has been a serial hawk attack. There are hawks in Connecticut that are swooping down from the sky, and they're clawing innocent bystanders. Jalen, are you concerned about being attacked by a hawk as you walk the streets of the Northeast?
I'm as concerned about the Hawks as Ben Simmons and Karl Anthony Towns.
Ha! You're the best. Good job,
and
Jalen
I love
Rose.
Atlanta. But that was a good joke.
You're really on your game. You got to save that one for Get Up. Save that one for Monday. I'm gonna text you like 7 good ones Monday morning. Oh wait, no, I'm not. 'Cause that's 4 in the morning for me. Sorry about that. I'll text them to you Sunday night.
We got to get Bees to do a drop for us.
She won't do it. She's too big time now.
No, she's right over here.
She's too big time now. So. The opening day is today. We're all very excited about the opening of the Major League Baseball season. What I'm really excited about is this Giants pitcher doing his entire interview as Kermit the Frog. Let's give a short listen.
Well, yeah, we can try to do it as much as we'd like. The thing is here, we're trying to watch a great game of baseball. There is the Giants. They are up 1-0. And, it's been an exciting day here. It's a little cold, but that's all right. We'll carry on from here.
Okay, I have a lot of questions. First of all, you and I had very different upbringing experiences. Did you watch The Muppets?
I glanced through it as I was changing the channel to go towards Sanford and Son and Good Times.
Do you know who Kermit the Frog is?
I do.
Can you do a Kermit the Frog impression?
I cannot.
Are you willing to give it a shot here on Jalen and Jacoby?
I wouldn't know where to start.
That's fair. Well,
I was watching Saturday Night Live and Buckwheat. Okay, I could do that.
Okay, well then do a Buckwheat song impression then from Buckwheat's Greatest Hits.
Okay.
I got one-word impressions too. Unstine's few times a lady. Jalen Rose, opening day in Detroit was canceled. Are you concerned about that? Does that bother you?
I am not concerned. The thing that concerns me is so many great Tigers playing on other teams, like Scherzer, Verlander, J.D. Martinez. But at least we still got Miguel Cabrera. That's my dog.
You know I don't want to talk about the Ball family here on the podcast, but there is legitimate news now. LiAngelo Ball has officially entered into the 2018 draft. It doesn't really change. Like, they always do the announcements like DeAndre Ayton has entered. Like, of course he has. Bagley has entered. Like, of course he has. Miles Bridges has entered. Like, of course he has. But this one's a little bit interesting. Do you think he will get drafted?
I do not think he'll get drafted. I do believe he'll be on someone's summer league team. I do not believe he'll be on the NBA roster once the season starts. I do believe he'll be on someone's G League team. Ultimately, he'll play NBA minutes for whoever's tanking at this point next season.
Interesting. Well, I look forward to that. Can't get enough balls in the NBA. Jalen, we always say we give the people what they want. Part of giving the people what they want is listening to their voicemails. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the show just like this.
What up, Del? All right, let me get this out of the way first. Shout out Reg. Shout out Reginald. Shout out Reggie. All right. Now, since that's out of the way, David, you asked a question on yesterday's pod. It was asking where is Medicinal Mitch. I had the same question a few days ago, so I did the old Google search, and Mitchell McGarry is now a professional bowler. Yes, a 6'10" white dude is slinging it down the lane. All right, so there's my little research for the day. All right, get people what they want.
I did get this update via Twitter. Someone sent me an article about Medicinal Mitch. He is now, I don't know if he's a professional bowler, but he's dedicated his life to bowling. Come to find out that his mom was like a semi-professional bowler or something. So he was bowling for years. He's averaging about a 195. Have you ever broken 200 on the lanes, Jalen?
I have.
No.
About 4 or 5 times.
No, you have not. I've seen you bowl, Jalen.
In middle school, I actually was on a bowling team. I never told you this. Rest in peace to my late, great
You were on the bowling team in middle school?
Rest in peace to my late great uncle Paramore Hicks Jr.
Shout out.
His team was called Charge, and every time he threw a strike, he'd say da-da-da-da-da, Charge. And so I was actually pretty good at one time, and then my skills fell off and they eroded to the point where it looks the way you see it now, where I'm stumbling down the lane and rolling the ball like 2 miles an hour.
You're not stumbling down the lane until like the fourth game. You know, the first and second game, you look pretty good. It's the fourth game where both you and I are stumbling down the lane trying to break 100. I'm bold with you. I know how that goes, and anyone that's bold knows how that goes. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate the update on Medicinal Mitch. Let's take another voicemail, please. This one, I hope this one doesn't give Reggie a shout out.
What up, Reg? Jalen, Jacoby, and my little guys. I love them. Question, man. What is up with the update on Jalen saying that he would do the cinnamon challenge if the Pistons didn't make the playoffs? Because I've been trying to listen to old episodes, man, because I know when he said it. J. Rose, you my guy. And you definitely did say it, man. What's up with the follow-up on that clip? Because, you know, I know Michigan man. What up, Detroit? I know a man's going to follow up on his word. It's your boy Darnell from Denver. Yep. Medicinal.
Oh, Darnell, thank you so much. We've actually got someone tweeted at me, or it's on our Reddit page. Don't forget to go to reddit.com/r/Jalen and Jacoby. I'm there every day. We've got the clip. Reggie, do you have the clip?
Nope.
Reggie's going to have the clip. I mean, we don't expect Reggie to actually do the work. But Reggie's going to have the clip. We're going to play it for you when the Pistons are officially eliminated from the playoff contention. You know what? I'm going to have to talk to the producers to get up. You know, we got to do this on a big stage. We got to do this on a big stage. We got to bless that new studio down in New York City with Jalen Rose vomit all over that new desk.
Oh, man.
It's going to happen. I got to reach out to the producers to get up. I'll get Beetle involved. We'll do something because you did say it, and we're waiting until the Pistons are officially mathematically eliminated, which is very close to happening.
I said I would consider doing it.
Dog, that's not how bets are made. No one's ever been like, if the Bulls win tonight, I'll consider giving you $200. That's not how bets go, Jalen. You know you didn't say that. We'll get the clip. We're going to have to do some work. We don't like to do a lot of work around here. We're going to do some work. We're going to find the clip. And we're going to play it for you. And we're going to find out if you're a man of your word. Are you going to do it?
I don't recall saying it.
Listen, you said it. You just heard from Darnell from Denver that you said it. So we're going to play the clip.
Darnell from Denver also said medicinal. He can't remember what he said 5 minutes ago.
All right, we're getting the clip. When we play the clip, in the hypothetical world that this clip does exist, that's actually the real world, and we play it for you, also the real world, are you going to do the Cinnamon Challenge?
I'll be forced to.
Okay. That's what I like to hear. If you're listening to the pod right now, I just want you to know the face that Jalen is making. The face that Jalen is making is the same face that he made when he found out he had to be at work every day at 4:30 in the morning. It's the exact same face. It's that face it's like a kid who doesn't want to go to bed. You tell him he has to. He's just like, the frustration. I love it so much. We got time for one more voicemail. Don't forget to call 985-80-JALEN and leave us voicemails.
Yo, Jalen and Jacoby, what's going on? Shout out to Reg. I know you got to get that caveat to get on the show. First time caller, so I'm hoping to get on. I had a little bit of backlog. I just had my first child, so I haven't really been able to listen every day. So catching up on the episodes, and I'm listening to the Granny versus Everybody episode. Shout out to Jalen's grandma. And I noticed that Jacoby had one of the longest advertisements for a pair of shoes that I ever heard in my life. The question is, was that on purpose? Or was the bag just that big that they got like 3 minutes worth of advertisement? I heard you talking about sheep and how they get massages and how they get like rubbed down and how these are happy sheep, happy feet, which was a terrible quote, by the way, but we'll let it slide. Please give me an answer. And please let me know how big that bag was, man. Forgot to say my name is Bryson from Atlanta.
Listen, Bryson, we're not here volunteering our time. Disney's a for-profit company. I don't know if you're familiar with that. We love our sponsors. You know, we're a small show at the network. We don't got a lot of sponsors. This isn't Get Up that you're listening to right now. We got a small staff. We got a small studio. But we got big dreams. And no matter, and if you come and sponsor Jalen and Jacoby, you're going to get that love. You're going to get that real experience. So it's Allbirds today. It's McDonald's tomorrow. Budweiser. We're going after the big brands after this. But I'm telling you, I got those Allbirds slippers. Been wearing them the last couple days. So my wife is the CFO of our family, and she takes care of all the things that I'm not able to take care of, which is basically everything around the house. And we are moving to the East Coast eventually. And before we do, though, there's this list of things that my wife wants to do while we're still in California. And one of those things was go to Napa. And so we booked this trip to Napa. We got people to come and take care of our million children. And when we're going to Napa, we had to figure out where to stay. And no lie, my wife uses Hotel Tonight to book our hotel. How does Hotel Tonight work? It's Hotel Tonight. What they do is hotels that have rooms left, hotels that have surplus rooms, they'll give you discounted prices via the Hotel Tonight app. My wife pulls out her phone. I told them the Hotel Tonight sponsors the show. She goes, oh, I use that all the time. And she pulled out her phone and showed me the Hotel Tonight app on her phone. If you download the Hotel Tonight app, you will get amazing deals on hotels. But here's the thing. You don't have to book it that night. That's kind of what they do. That was kind of like the process in the beginning was, hey, the game goes into overtime and you don't feel like driving home, or perhaps you had a few and you want to get a quick hotel. You don't want to drive a long way. You can get a hotel that night, but you can also book in advance. So whether you're doing things in advance, like my wife does, or you're just leaving things to the last minute, you just want to live by the seat of your pants, you can use the Hotel Tonight app. You can book a room in just 10 seconds, just 3 taps and a swipe. That sounds dirty. No long, endless lists of zillion hotel choices. Hotel Tonight just shows you the best deals at the best hotels. Hotel Tonight partners with amazing hotels all over the world. If you need a hotel, you don't have to pay full price. Just get it through Hotel Tonight. They've also got the HT Perks program, where the more you book, the better deals you get. Also, the thing about the Hotel Tonight app is it's not like plane flights. If you're going to take a plane flight, you have to book in advance because as you get closer to the date, the plane takes off, it costs more money. Hotel rooms are actually the opposite. If you need a hotel that night, they get cheaper. So you can book for next week or you can book for tonight. It's such a nice app. We used it. We're going to Napa. We actually are staying there for 3 nights. We booked 2 nights using Hotel Tonight. And the 3rd night, we don't even have a hotel. Do you know why? Because we have Hotel Tonight. We decided we're going to see how we like this hotel. And that evening, that day will be a lunch or whatever. We'll just open up the Hotel Tonight app and we're going to get a great deal on a hotel in the Napa area. So excited about this. Not just the vacation, but the deals that we're getting using the Hotel Tonight app. So don't forget to download the app, use the Hotel Tonight, book yourself a room, whether for that night or for advance. You're going to get yourself a great deal with Hotel Tonight. So we got a special announcement. We have another episode in the series of Storytime with Jalen Rose coming out. It's a very special, controversial story about Jalen Rose's time with the Pacers. I'm not going to give you any more details than that, but I am going to say that there have been some executives around ESPN. They're a little concerned about us playing it, and you know it's going to be good if there's executive concern. Because executives don't really concern themselves with our show too much. They really don't. They really don't. And they're a little concerned about the content they're in. We might get in trouble with various partners. So keep a look for that. Harlan, next week maybe? Week after that? We'll see. We'll see what happens. We need to get some approvals before we air that one.
Well, the good thing that I have going for me is that if the public hears about it, it means multiple people have okayed it. So once it gets out there, everybody but me will get in trouble, which is great.
Yeah, so Harlan was like, we got to show it to Jalen. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if we want to do that. I was like, I don't know. You might not want to run it.
I don't need to see it.
Good. I know you trust us, and that's one of the problems that you have. I want to thank you, Jalen, making time to do the podcast. You know, I want to tell all of our podcast listeners that we got a little patchy schedule in the next couple of weeks due to tennis tournaments and Get Up launching and us being preempted on television, but we'll always check in at least once or twice a week to give you a dope pod to step to. Jalen, what do you want to tell our faithful listeners?
I want to tell our faithful listeners, thank you for the support. Appreciate the love. Rooting for the Wolverines this Saturday. Hopefully they get a chance to cut down the nets at the top of next week. And tell a friend to download our podcast. And while you got the remote control in your hand this weekend, make sure you DVR Jalen and Jacoby 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Also DVR Get On Up 7 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Don't forget, just because Get Up is launching does not mean it is the end of Jalen and Jacoby, because
We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
The new Allbirds Tree Runners are comfy shoes made from trees. When you put them on, they feel light and breezy. They're so comfy, they're like walking barefoot through a patch of 4-leaf clovers on a spring day. But they also look good, too. They come in a bunch of limited edition colors and are designed simply with no unnecessary logos. Allbirds is on a mission to prove that comfort, style, and sustainability don't have to be mutually exclusive. Go to allbirds.com and find your pair of light, breezy, comfy shoes made from trees. The Tree Runner from Allbirds.